All I know is that I don't know. All I know is that I don't know nothing. Greetings, people of YouTube. Welcome back to Pick the Bass. Matt Freeman is the man. He was the bassist in Operation Ivy, arguably the greatest punk rock band of all time. If this was his only claim to fame, he would already be God tier.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Lightning's not supposed to strike twice, but for Matt Freeman, it did just that. He followed up Operation Ivy with Rancid. If you're watching this video, Rancid likely needs no introduction. They're probably why you love punk, and Matt is probably why you love the bass. Without Matt Freeman, punk rock bass as we know it would not exist. Chuck Norris wears Matt Freeman pajamas. Matt Freeman, he's the man.
He's the man.
Come along with me as I explore what makes Matt a bass-playing badass.
Let's do this.
Matt Freeman was born in 1966 in Albany, California. He was a fan of music from a young age, taking up the trumpet at age 7. Over the next few years, he learned how to play the trombone, joined jazz band, and picked up
The bass.
He got turned on to punk rock when his friend and future bandmate, Tim Armstrong, played him a compilation tape of punk songs. They started Operation Ivy in 1987 and have been at the forefront of punk rock ever since. While Matt is mostly known for Operation Ivy and Rancid, he's been part of a lot of other projects over the years as well. He founded and almost immediately left Dancehall Crashers in 1989. In 1990, he toured and recorded with MDC. In 2004, he was a touring member of Social Distortion, and in 2020, he formed his heavy metal side project, Charger. In 2024, he launched his own YouTube channel, Matt Freeman's Bass Bunker. Matt definitely keeps himself busy. I began listening to punk in 1993 while I was in 8th grade. I started where everyone started back then: the Sex Pistols, the Ramones, the Clash. They were really the only punk bands that a 13-year-old boy would have had access to at that time. The following summer, I discovered Green Day and The Offspring with the release of Dookie and Smash. These new punk bands with their new punk sounds were really doing it for me, and
I wanted more.
when I got to high school in '94, I met a handful of other like-minded degenerate children who, like me, were in their early days of discovering punk. It was so hard to discover new bands back then. We pooled our knowledge and introduced one another to every band we had discovered so far. That's how I found Rancid. Rancid was mind-blowing. I had been playing bass for only a few months when I first heard Let's Go. While I was new to the instrument, I could already flub my way through a lot of old-school punk songs. I thought I was doing pretty good and had found my thing. I wasn't ready for the ass-kicking that was Matt Freeman.
How could anyone play the bass like this?
Besides being in awe of the bass playing, I was blown away by just how punk rock Rancid was. I could totally hear the Clash and the Sex Pistols, but Rancid turned it up to 11.
These go to 11.
They were so exciting, they felt dangerous, and I felt like a
Badass.
I then came across Operation Ivy at some point before December of '94. How could I possibly remember this? My first big punk concert was Green Day at Nassau Coliseum on December 2nd in 1994. I was 14 and I got to see Green Day on the Dookie tour. It was so cool. I don't remember who the opening bands were, but at least one of them played an Op Ivy song, followed by Green Day playing their version of Knowledge. I knew the songs on the day, so therefore I had already started listening to Operation Ivy. I started '94 with almost no exposure to punk. With a little help from my friends, MTV, and two of the best comps of all time, I ended '94 well on my way to being
Punk as
In the span of a year, I had discovered Green Day, The Offspring, Rancid, Operation Ivy, No Effects, No Use for a Name, Lagwagon, Sublime, and Bad Religion. Not too shabby. Thanks, Punkorama and Fat Music for Fat People. I could go on forever about my love for Matt Freeman, but I think I could sum it up with this. I've been a huge fan of Matt Freeman for over 30 years. He initially inspired me to really learn how to play the bass, and he helped me find my style. Over the years, he stoked that fire many times when it started to cool off. Without Matt, I don't know what my relationship with music would be, but I know it would be different. The world is a better place for having Matt Freeman in it, and I can't thank him enough for his art. Mad respect, Matt. So anyway, who wants to hear a story? In 1996, I met Matt Pinfield and we quickly became friends. He liked my band and offered to help us gain some exposure. At the time, he was the host of 120 Minutes on MTV, and it was great to have the ear of someone so famous. He invited us to the Roseland Ballroom to hang with him at a Rancid show. It was the An Outcome the Wolves tour, and I got to watch Matt Freeman play Maxwell Murder up close. I didn't think there was anything that could top that. And then Matt Pinfield was like,
Hey, do you guys want to go hang out with the Ramones?
So there I was, 15 years old at a Rancid show, partying down with a dude from the television and the freaking Ramones.
It was awesome.
Back to Matt Freeman. Let's talk about his style. He's a huge fan of John Entwistle. He also draws a lot from his love of Paul Simonon and Horace Panter. If you took their three styles and put them in a blender, you get Matt. He's fast. It's hard to believe just how fast Matt really is.
You just won't believe how vastly, hugely, mind-bogglingly big it is.
He plays at breakneck speeds and somehow makes it look and sound smooth and effortless. No one else can do it quite like him. He can groove, he's a killer reggae bassist, and he can switch between thin picks and fingerstyle with ease. There's so much that could be said about his style, but in one word, Matt is
Speed.
Speed. I am speed.
Matt's tone is pretty much what you think of when you think of punk rock.
Bass.
You get a good amount of tube drive and a focus on mids and highs to punch through the mix. Matt is the lead instrument and he must
Be heard.
I will be heard. With a name!
Matt is all about the P-Bass. His Ride or Die is his 1977 P-Bass that he bought in 1984 for $400. It's been on almost every record and was with him on tour for decades. He owns all the main players, P-Basses, jazz basses, Rickenbackers, Stingrays, but when you picture Matt, it's that white 77 P-Bass in his hands. These days while on tour, he mostly plays a custom chambered Fender American Pro 2 P-Bass through a Fender Bassman 800 with a matching 810 cab. Well, we've reached the part of the video where I discuss my favorite tracks. I usually try to keep this around 3 songs, but with Matt there's too many bangers and I had to switch it up. This time I'm going to do 3 Operation Ivy songs followed by 3 Rancid songs.
And I still feel like it's lacking.
I found it really difficult to choose songs. I wanted to pick his most impressive tracks and focus on what a shredder he is. But as I was listening, I realized I actually prefer it when he's grooving more. It's really impressive how many notes he can fit into a short amount of time, but you lose how amazing his compositional skills are with that. Songs like Unity and Junkie Man might not be hard to play, but they feel great. So I went with what felt right to me, and hopefully you agree with a couple of them. Please don't hate me if I don't mention your favorite tracks. There's way too many great songs, and there are no wrong answers here. Instead, please share your picks down in the comments. The first Operation Ivy track that I want to talk about is Take Warning, from the album Energy. This might seem like a strange pick since it's kind of a low-key bass line for Matt, but it's great because it shows that he can do much more than just shred. This song has such a vibe as he leans into reggae bass. You can totally hear the influence of Paul Simonon and Horace Panter. This is most definitely a dance track, and I dare you to not bop along.
Check out a bit of the verse.
Stand by your friend. Right or right. Can't call that justice. If it's just a stupid excuse to.
The next track I want to discuss is Bombshell, also from Energy. This song is stupid fast. This is not a walking bass line, this is a running bass line.
Check out a bit of the bridge.
The last Operation Ivy song I want to talk about is Healthy Body, from the Hectic EP. This has always been one of my favorite bass lines. It's not the fastest or most difficult for Matt, but it feels so deliberate. Every note is on purpose and the bass pushes the song along. It's mostly a walking bass line and feels like a prequel to songs like Time Bomb, Daly City Train, and I Wanna Riot. It's very much in the style of Horace Panter. This could definitely be a special song.
Check out a bit of the verse.
With Operation Ivy out of the way, now we can dig into some Rancid songs. I think I could pick any 3 songs from the first 4 albums and they'd be bangers. Narrowing it down to 3 seems impossible, but the buck stops here.
Spread it on!
Spread it on!
The first Rancid song I want to talk about is Detroit, from their self-titled debut. When I was 15 or so, I started to get a bit better at bass. I thought maybe I should try learning some Rancid songs.
Good luck, kid.
I tried to learn Detroit. I failed miserably.
You lost today, kid. But it doesn't mean you have to like it.
The intro is my favorite part. It's really fast, but still has a great melody to it. I couldn't play it at all. The verse chills out a bit. I was able to flub my way through it, and my confidence increased. Then I hit the chorus.
What's this guy's problem? Who thought you needed to play so many notes in such a short amount of time?
I couldn't play it. I probably still can't play it. I love this song.
Check out the intro.
This next track is not going to surprise anyone. The second Rancid song I want to discuss is Maxwell Murder, from the album And Out Come the Wolves. When this album came out, Rancid was already pretty much my favorite band, and bass was pretty much the only thing that I cared about. I knew there would be great bass lines throughout, but I was not prepared for the first song to be essentially the bass line. This is his mom's spaghetti moment. I don't think anyone else has ever written a more definitive and recognizable bass solo. I should probably mention I can't play this either. Maybe I should have spent more time throughout my life practicing bass technique and less time doing rad stuff with cool people.
Check out the solo.
The last song on my list is Journey to the End of the East Bay, also from And Out Come the Wolves.
Finally, a song that I can actually play.
Eddie, these are my games. Give me $20.
This is probably my favorite Matt bass line, and maybe ties with Sublime's Lincoln Dub Highway for my favorite bass line ever. It's certainly not an easy bass line, but it sure is for Matt. I love it when Matt slows down a bit and lets groove and melody drive instead of speed. I think it's where he really shines. We even get mostly root notes in the verses. Matt must have been exhausted when they were writing this one.
Check out a bit of the intro.
Well, that's Matt. He rules. How do you feel about Matt? Do you prefer Rancid or Operation Ivy? Are you into any of his side projects? What's your favorite Matt Freeman bass line? Do you think Matt should sing more or not at all? What other bass players do you want to hear me talk about?
Let me know down in the comments.
I've been asking for your suggestions at the end of every video, and I'm finally starting to get some answers. I had a different video planned for this week, but I went with Matt at your request, so please, keep it coming. Finally, please make sure that you like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the YouTube stuff. I know it's annoying to hear that all the time, but it really helps. I'm having a great time making these videos, and the more that I know that you're enjoying them, the more that it motivates me to continue. I'll catch you next time, but until then, be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes! See ya.